All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Liz Hermansky. I'm with VIP Mortgage. I do business development, and we are one of the Power Partners here. I have been in the industry on kind of the marketing side for 7 years, so I've learned a lot about real estate marketing, what it takes to grow your business, and our team really prides ourselves on helping agents grow, build a brand, lead gen strategies, and I personally like to teach you ways to get business without spending a lot of money, because in this business, there's always going to be some new awesome shiny lead gen method that you can throw a lot of money at and try it out. It may or may not work for you, but ultimately the best agents are those who have built a repeat and referral business. And those are the ones that you can have a long-term sustainable business that works with you, not against you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I think an integral part of that in this day and age is social media. So we're going to talk a lot about ways you can build your brand for free on social media. And I want this to be very interactive, especially since it's small. So I want to start off by asking a few questions to kind of gauge where you guys are at with your social media and see what I can focus on and best help you with. So how many of you use Facebook? Okay, and then of those that use Facebook, do you have a personal and a business page?
Yeah. Okay,
awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you're using your personal page versus your business page.
I do a combo on my personal page of my personal things.
Awesome.
And then business, just information.
Great.
Like maybe whatever, home in 5 or this or that or something.
Perfect. And do you find that people respond well to that?
I don't get a ton of responses.
Okay.
I really don't.
Well, I'll tell you why in just a minute. Yeah. And what about your business page? What do people use business pages for?
Run ads.
Pretty dormant. Run ads. Okay. So we'll get into that in a minute when I get to Facebook, but this is great information for me. So do any of you feel like you are getting good use out of Facebook, meaning clients are coming to you? I see you head nod.
For the personal.
Awesome. For your personal page? And it's just how do you promote yourself as an agent on your personal page?
I think it's just through my SOI and just getting, branded.
Perfect.
Having people understand I'm real estate.
You're an agent. You're not a secret agent. You're an agent. This is what you do. Good. Okay. And anyone think like they have a great brand on social media? No? Okay, good. Well, I'd say most agents, I asked that question, don't really think they have a good brand. It's very hard these days, especially with all of the changes that are going on with Facebook and algorithms and what's going on, which we'll talk about. But I'm glad you're here. Hopefully everyone can learn something. And I'm happy to send this to you guys if you want to sign in. That way you don't have to take as many detailed notes. I'll send you my whole PowerPoint so you have it. So why? A lot of agents ask, why should I really spend my time on social media? In my opinion, it is the least expensive and most effective way to create relevancy within your network without really hounding people. So people get bothered by emails, right? You don't want to send emails every week to your sphere asking for referrals, but if they see you on Facebook doing business as an agent, you're going to be top of mind to get referrals. So in my opinion, it's very great to stay relevant with past clients, your friends and family, and potential new customers, and it's free depending on what you do with it. Goals of social media that you always should keep in mind. Do you want to build your brand? So a lot of agents have this struggle between, personal versus business. How much should I put personal? How much should I put business? And we'll talk a little bit about that. But what all studies have shown are agents who get the best response with social media are the ones who use their personal pages primarily. And that's because it allows people to connect with you on a more personal level. They can find something in common with you and hopefully then build a trust relationship based upon your personal life and that you're not overly selling yourself to them. So personal page, in my opinion, is where it's at. We'll break that down. But you definitely want to build your brand, connect with potential customers or past customers, promote your service as an agent, and then obviously convert it to customers, all of the people out there that you're trying to target. So I get this question all the time, which platforms? So I asked who's on Facebook, who's on Instagram? Okay, a few. And do you have a personal profile on Instagram or a business profile on Instagram? Personal, okay.
I had trouble setting up the
business when
Lauren.
spoke,
Yeah.
and it didn't like what I was doing, so I didn't have any place to go.
Okay.
I stopped.
We'll look at that. We can help you after class. But okay, so personal.
I think mine's business now.
Okay, good. And we'll talk
Yeah.
about kind of the pros and cons of each with that. But same thing. You find you're getting leads from Instagram. Okay. So Instagram, we'll get into in a minute. Generally, I got that answer. No, I use Instagram, but I don't really feel like I'm getting leads from Instagram. So we're going to talk about today how to actually get leads from your business on Instagram. How many people are on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's personal, not business.
Okay. Are you on personal or business or both?
I think it's personal. I just started getting into it,
Okay.
so I don't really get it.
Do you find any value in it for your business?
I haven't found any value yet.
Okay. What about Snapchat?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't really know how to use it.
All right.
Like, I use it with my kid.
Okay. Lots of people do that. They do all the little, ears
Yeah.
and flower headbands and all that. But do you think it's gotten you any business?
No.
Okay. What about LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay. So LinkedIn has come back around. It's crazy, actually, how within the last year, now a lot of professionals are engaging more in LinkedIn and less on Facebook because of what's happened with algorithms. So a lot of agents and loan officers are effectively getting leads on on LinkedIn. And that's kind of a whole separate class. I'm not going to dive into it too much today because most agents don't utilize it. What about Pinterest? How many use Pinterest for business
I have
at
an
all?
account, but I don't use it for business.
No? Okay. YouTube?
I tried posting a bunch of house pictures, and no one
Doesn't
ever
work?
asked you about it. They just copy good ideas to their board, and yeah.
So where do you link them back to?
I was linking them to the link for the house, but they never clicked through to them.
Okay, so I'll go through each of these quickly after the fact. What about YouTube?
I have it, but not for real estate.
Okay.
Big time for
And what about Google Plus? Anybody?
Have it, but I don't.
No, don't waste time on it. So you'll see here, in my opinion, every real estate agent to be relevant in our social media marketplace right now needs to be on Facebook and Instagram. Every agent, that's my opinion. That's all that I'm on. I personally do not use, and I'm sorry, I'm on LinkedIn too. I personally do not use any of the others, and I feel like a lot of agents, there's this mentality where you have to be on every channel, which I agree with to some extent if you're very heavy in digital marketing. But if you're going to be on every channel and do kind of a very spotty job on every channel, you're actually doing a disservice. So in my opinion if you're going to only spend, a certain amount of time on social media a week, and it's not a lot, it needs to be focused on one or two channels or platforms. So in my opinion, those should be Facebook and Instagram. There are people that have effectively used all of these to build a real estate brand, but it is their main pillar of business. For example, I don't really know anyone except for like kind of celebrity agents that have done well on Twitter with real estate. Snapchat, there's a local person named Chelsea Pipes who used to work for Fidelity Title. She teaches at Inman on how to use Snapchat for real estate. She has some great videos on YouTube. You can find her. She does a good job with it. Again, I'm not a Snapchat person at all. LinkedIn has come back around. It's mostly through blogging and people that are posting relevant blog content, putting it on their LinkedIn, and it's getting shared that way through like local networks of people. So if you're not blogging or don't have relevant content to post, you're probably not going to get a lot of traction on LinkedIn. Pinterest, the person who does it best is Barbara Corcoran out of New York. Everyone know her from Shark Tank? Mm-hmm. So if you are interested in Pinterest for your business, look at her page. What she does is she's created a folder for each category of a home. So she has a kitchen folder, a master bathroom folder, a closet folder, a master bedroom folder, a patio folder, backyards, front entryway. And for each folder, within that, she has beautiful photos of the best kitchens or the best entryways. And each photo she links back to her personal website. That's why I asked, which is a lead capture site. So in order to do it effectively, those are all her listings too, which helps. So she owns the rights to the photos. So it can be a little tough to do, but if you are wanting to do a Pinterest page for real estate, I would suggest copying that model. Finding features in homes here locally that you like and making a folder about each of those. And then you have to try to advertise it, obviously. You can get free images off of a lot of different stock photo sites online that you can utilize as well. But again, I wouldn't spend too much time on it. If you're really, I mean, how long is it going to take to generate leads? You know, that's my opinion. YouTube, I think, can be extremely successful if you want to dive wholeheartedly into video. You have to be posting regularly. You have to be pushing people to your videos. Generally, that means spending money to boost the videos. So again, I wouldn't recommend trying to build your brand through video unless you're already established in it, but some agents do. A great example of that is Steve Panate from this brokerage here. Panate! He has built his entire real estate business off video. He's 3.5 years in the business. He did 58 deals last year, and he spends zero money on marketing. All he does is really awesome videos. So if you're interested in that, he's a person to check out. So with this, I'm going to focus today on Facebook and Instagram. I do think, you know, if you are a person who wants to make social media your main pillar of business and you want to spend 2 hours a day doing so, then you can be on more platforms. But other than that, I would stick to the top 2. So first we're going to talk about Instagram and then we'll really dive deep into Facebook. But so Instagram, show of hands again, who has an Instagram profile? Okay. And for those who don't, why not?
Don't use it. Don't even know why I would use it.
Okay.
They didn't take Lauren's class?
So would I shock you to tell you that it's the fastest growing social platform by far of all of them, even Facebook? It's growing at even higher rates than Facebook is. There's 700 million users now on Instagram. And it, in my opinion, is a great way to build a community around your business. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. However, there's definitely something to be said versus personal profile versus business profile. In my opinion, if you are using it for your real estate business, you need to make it a business profile. And the reason why is it allows for insights. Insights basically give you all the information you need about your audience and basically how your posts are performing. So you know which post is truly performing better, who's liking it, what age group they are, what day of the week they're using it. It's amazing what you can see. I'll go into that in a minute. But this is a little grid, and I know it's really hard to see, but basically it kind of helps guide you if you should have a personal Instagram profile or business. And what it says here is, are you a business is the first question. All of you are a business. Do you have 10,000 followers, 10,000 plus followers? For most people, that's no. Do you, I can't even read what that says. Do you have any interest in doing Instagram stories? Yes or no? Does everyone know what Instagram stories are? Okay, it's a great way, again, to build your brand and community. We'll talk about that. And then, do you ever want to run ads on Instagram is another question. If you have interest in doing either of those, then you should definitely switch to a business profile. And we're going to talk about that. Business profiles also allow for promoted posts, which are basically ads. In addition, they have a contact button, allowing people to directly contact you. If you have a personal profile, there's no way for them to do that in your bio. You can have a link within your bio, but they have to click out of there. It's really complicated. So with a business post, there's a contact button. You can have your phone number on there and all of that. And then you can have links to your website on your stories, which helps drive traffic away to capture leads. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, I had a pop-up here.
Copy of the
Look
slides.
at
Yes,
It went away.
No, it's
Did you sign in?
the screen at the
No,
bottom.
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Then she's gonna send it.
Okay,
Thank you.
so with a business profile, the thing you get, the value, the gold, in my opinion, is the analytics that you get with a business profile. With a personal profile, you don't get any of this. So when I post on Instagram, I see how many likes my thing got and comments, but I don't see how many people actually saw the post. So if I posted something and I have 400 friends and I got 40 likes, I don't know how many were actually shown the post to begin with. And then I don't know how many, even saw it with their eyes versus liked it. I don't know what time of day people are liking it and all that. With a business profile, it tells you exactly what cities your followers are in. So even within a local, like Maricopa County, it'll tell you that, Chandler this many, Peoria this many, Tempe this many. It'll tell you the days of the week and times that your followers are most active on Instagram. And then here's days, here's times. It tells you their gender and age demographic. the location, the hours, the amount of time they spend on Instagram per day, and the days of the week that they're most active on Instagram. Why would that information be helpful?
Know when to post.
Yeah, exactly right. So that tells you if your followers primarily are people in Scottsdale between the age of 40 and 55, and they're most active on Instagram on Fridays and Mondays, and you're going to pay money to run an ad, you should probably run the ad during the times when your targeted audience is most active. And this gives you that information for free. So that's why I think Instagram business profiles are very helpful. As Barry mentioned, Lauren Coughlin with Shebang CRM. Hi, Lauren. She's a great partner here at my home group and a friend of mine, great colleague. She does a whole class on how to generate leads from Instagram. I borrowed some of her slides from that, and I'd be happy to share she has a handout with any of you guys if I have your email as well. So that's really helpful. It talks about some more benefits of having an Instagram business profile. But this is one thing I think that a lot of people, this is a way to hugely increase and expand your reach on Instagram, and it's through stories. So does anyone know what stories are? Or the people that use Instagram? So you've probably noticed at the top of your homepage on Instagram, there's these little circles, and the ones that have the color around it are people who have a story within the last 24 hours. It's basically Snapchat, which, does everyone know what Snapchat is? That's where people can post an image and it disappears, and you can't go back and look at it. Stories are the same way, but they last for 24 hours. So typically they get a lot more views than like a Snap would because it's only there for a moment. But basically what stories do is they're literally featured at the top of every single one of your followers' homepage, at the very top of their thing. And usually they're more fun and interactive than scrolling. So and they keep going. If you click on one, as soon as it's over, the next one pops up automatically, the next one pops up automatically. So generally people who use Instagram regularly spend probably half their time looking at their stories first and then going through their wall. Because what stories do is it allows people to post more than one image in a story to create kind of a flow that's more engaging. So what to post with your stories, you want to post fun, lighthearted content and promotional content for your business. You want to use hashtags, you want to tag places. If you're a business profile, you want to tag your business or your listing address or wherever you have. And tag other accounts. If you're, at a coffee shop and the pictures of the coffee that you just got, tag that business in your post. And you can also do polls in your Instagram stories. So you can ask your audience questions based upon anything you want to know. So, for example, if you have a new listing and you're basically not sure about, the sellers want to do some work, and they want to maybe paint the front door. You could literally do a poll with a picture of the front door and say, what color should they paint the door, yellow or green? And then people just click which one they want, and it tells you 84% want this. So it's a great way to build engagement through Instagram with your posts and expand your community as well. With Instagram, one thing where I think people miss the boat a lot on Instagram is it needs to be more about pretty pictures. And I know that's very counterintuitive, thinking I'm going to have a business profile that I fill with pretty pictures, but that's what people want to look at on Instagram. They want it to be less about you and more about beautiful things. So the best brands have pretty photos or quotes, but everything has a consistent look and feel to it. Meaning, you can't see it with this, but she has her logo as a watermark on every single one of these pictures and posts. So her branding is consistent throughout every single post that she does, and it's very visually appealing. Clearly she likes the pink and green color scheme, trees, cactuses, but what she does is, again, she creates personalized graphics to post on her page. And she uses a free service like Canva or Snappa, which basically allows you to put text over images or personalize them for your brand. So you can put your logo in the bottom of every single photo you post on Instagram. That will help. And it basically helps you cater your message and look to your audience and really helps with building a consistent brand online. So that's an example of that. Also, these are 2 examples of things that you can do for posts with Canva. So I use Canva all the time. And my opinion, if you're ever going to post a picture of a house on Facebook or Instagram, which I generally don't recommend, to be honest, and I'll tell you why in a bit, if you're going to do it, it needs to have stuff on it. It can't just be a picture. So put here, this one says Old Town South Scottsdale price to sell, and it has logos, the brokerage logo, Realtor, Fair Housing, MLS, the team logo, all down here at the bottom. So this is going to be, it actually tells people something rather than just a picture of a house, right? And it furthers your brand online. So something like this, oh yeah, I think they added it to the bottom of the other one.
Okay,
But
I'm just gonna leave it here.
yeah, thank you, Kelly.
Okay.
But this, in my opinion, this will take literally a minute to add these logos on Canva. You just overlay them on top of the photo, do a text box, type this in. It's as simple as possible to do this, to customize a graphic, but it is branding then. When people see it, they're going to continue to recognize your brand, especially if you use similar fonts every time or have your logo obviously at the bottom. On Facebook, like for cover photos, for example, have your information in it. That way when people go to your page, instead of having to figure out how to reach you by under your About section, it's right there on the top when they click on it. So here's an example of an agent here. His cover photo has all of his info easily accessible. And why is this a good idea?
It's compliant legally.
It's
The
compliant
idea,
legally.
because you have to have your information on any page, and if it's in your cover photo, it translates to the other page.
Very compliant. That's exactly right. So A, it's compliant, but B, this reminds everybody that he's a realtor without him saying it, right? It's there. How could anybody forget? His brokerage logo is right on the bottom. So I think that is another great way if you're trying to build your brand through your sphere or community online without having to push it in their face. It's just there. It's a gentle reminder. Nobody's offended by that, but it's there all the time. So anybody who clicks on his profile is going to see that first. So I think that's something you should think about doing as well. Hashtags are a thing that a lot of people hate and think they're silly and irrelevant, but let me tell you why. So about 7 years ago, hashtags were introduced with Twitter, and it allows people to click on a hashtag and figure out what's trending in the media right now. That's how they started. But now, fast forward 7 years, it's literally become a part of social conversation. And I'm sure you hear people in the media or radio, TV, whatever, hashtag blessed, hashtag love, hashtag, people say that literally when they're talking. It's become a part of social conversation. And you can use that to further your reach and brand online by leveraging those hashtags. And I know it sounds very silly, but it works. For example, I'll give you some of the good ones, but relevant ones extend your reach and engagement, and they can start a conversation between you and new potential followers. So the way to do it, though, you can't just use one or two. If you're going to use hashtags, you need to use a lot of them. You need to use local hashtags. So, Scottsdale Homes, Chandler Homes, Peoria Homes, just listed Phoenix. You need to use local ones that people potentially could search for. You need to switch up non-essential ones, meaning kind of vary the hashtags as you go. Create a branded hashtag and use in every post. So if you have a real, I
don't know what that is.
Okay, so good example is a lot of them are just your team name, or your name is a realtor, Barry Sells AZ, or whatever it is, but you create a hashtag or a slogan for your brand that you put on every single thing you do. And that way, when it is a post of you and your family, it's still hashtag Barry Sells AZ, which subconsciously reminds them that you're an agent without you ever mentioning that you're an agent when it's a non-business related post. Hashtags, in my opinion, are only necessary on Instagram or Twitter. On Facebook, they don't work really as well. But on Instagram, they work very well because people can search hashtags, meaning somebody can go in and type, Scottsdale real estate. And if you've tagged that in a bunch of your posts are going to show up first to that person who's never heard of you or seen you before. So it's a way for somebody to find you and potentially use you.
And they do work. You can search them on Facebook now.
Oh, you can?
You can.
Oh,
Go
good.
search hashtag Craig Harland AZ Realtor.
Oh, good. So there's an example one, Craig Harland AZ Realtor. So that's one. You should create one for yourself if you're a single agent, or use a team one if you're a team. And then you should also, in my opinion, catchy is better, in my opinion. Craig AZ Realtor is awesome, Craig Harland AZ Realtor, but the ones that really stick are kind of the silly ones. I know, I can't think of any of an example right now, but people use like wedding hashtags all the time, or Lizzie Hofer, who's another lender, partner here with Guild, she has Leave Lizzie Alone. And people use it, and people remember it. So sometimes if they're a little more cutesy, funny, creative, it sticks in people's heads. You don't forget it ever. Also, it allows jump on trending topics, meaning if something is going on in the social media world that's popular right now, like the whole Me Too movement that just happened or all these other ones, you can use those hashtags to potentially then get in front of thousands of people that would never see you by using those hashtags. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Has anybody done that before with hashtags?
Is that measurable? We know Instagram is measurable. And Google Analytics will do things. Facebook has analytics, but it's not as available to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So does hashtags, are they measurable and do they work?
So
So
Craig corrected me a little bit. That's why I said initially I would only recommend you to spend time really using hashtags on Instagram and Twitter. Craig says now they're searchable on Facebook too, which is a push that they must be making. I don't know if they're measurable on Facebook. Do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But but it's easy to put, otherwise if you find me on Facebook and people have to go look for you, but now you go search hashtag Craig Harland on Facebook and you'll find me.
So what hashtags have done too is they've kind of replaced links. Does that make sense? So instead of Craig Harland putting www.craigharlandazrealtor.com, it's hashtag Craig Harland AZ Realtor on everything. And then people know that if they search that on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, he's going to show up. So that's why though, before you pick a branded hashtag, you need to do a little bit of research. You need to search it and make sure no one else has used it. The best way to do that is use something like Hashtagify or Sprout Social. Those are two hashtag sites that are free that allow you to search any hashtag, see how often it's been used, when it's trended, even if it was, you can see if it was used, peaked for like a wedding, for example. If somebody used a hashtag and it peaked in the month that they got married, but then there's been none since then, you could probably resurface that hashtag because nobody's used it in a year or whatever. But it allows you to see that. It also allows you to see related ones to help you come up with one. So Hashtagify is really cool. So Craig could go in and type Craig Harland AZ Realtor, and it would give him other options that may perform better for him related to his name or those keywords. So use Hashtagify or Sprout Social to help you understand hashtags better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I learned something. I can leave now?
Well, a few more. I'm not letting you leave yet, I promise. We haven't even gotten into Facebook.
Boost is not easily understood. Boost.
Well,
Facebook.
we're not there yet. Hold on. Hold that thought.
So
we're still on hashtags real quick. So for real estate, there's hashtags that just perform well on social media, and those are these. So if you're trying to get your brand in front of a broader audience who doesn't know you, jump on these hashtags. These are the most widely used in the whole social media world. So love, Instagood, TBT, which means Throwback Thursday, WCW, Woman Crush Wednesday. So you can post a picture of your wife and put WCW with whatever it is. Same thing, Man Crush Monday. But here, so you may not use any of those, but photo of the day works really good. So if you're an agent and you post every day a picture of a house or a picture of something real estate related, you could do photo of the day on every single one. Pick of the day, Insta like food. So food is a huge one. If you're out at a great restaurant, talk about, put a picture of your food, the ambiance, the experience, tag the restaurant, hashtag food, hashtag restaurant, and all the people who've ever checked in or liked that restaurant are going to see your post, potentially. So that's a huge way to expand your reach. Also, yeah, there's more there. Real estate ones, obviously these are all the general real estate hashtags that work well. And a lot of them are very general, but you could also do, renovated, just listed, fix and flip. People search those like crazy right now with the whole HGTV craze. So if you have a house that's recently remodeled, use all of those hashtags in it. And then obviously use custom real estate ones based upon the geographic area or any specific qualities or about the house. So for example here, you could do hashtag Gainey Ranch, hashtag McDowell Mountain Ranch, hashtag Paradise Valley, hashtag luxury homes. Or you could even do like, you know, if it's a specific style of a home, hashtag mid-century modern, hashtag ranch style, hashtag modern minimalist, you know, whatever it is, hashtag farm style. So those are often widely searched too, architectural styles. And then you can do real estate teams. Your brokerage oftentimes helps you trend as well if your brokerage has a lot of followers. Or yeah, Phoenix Homes, Scottsdale Homes, those help as well. So any questions on hashtags?
Is there a suggested number of hashtags to use on their posts?
So I'd say 20. And what most agents do to manage that is they copy and paste. So yeah, so it's consistent until you're going to switch it up if it's a different house or whatever. But for a general picture, you should kind of use the same ones to stay consistent. And you can either do it in your post or you can do it as a comment to the post. Either way will work. A lot of people, when they do it in the post, they enter down a couple lines so that it doesn't show up when people initially look at the post unless they click see more. Does that make sense? And then all the hashtags show up. But it's very searchable. It helps with SEO for Google Analytics. And now Facebook and Instagram both allow you to search by hashtags. So even though they seem silly, these are worthless, they work. And they do help people really expand their brand for free. So it's worth trying, especially if you're very community-centric or driven. So if you live in a neighborhood and you do everything in the neighborhood and you go to the local restaurants and barber and, you know, all the places in the area, utilize that, leverage that, utilize those business owners to leverage their audience and it'll help you become like your neighborhood expert just by using hashtags. And I know it's, you know, seems silly. It seemed silly to me for a while too, but I've seen it work.
I would just say real quick, so I did an Instagram challenge, 7 days, and learned a lot of stuff. That you're teaching right now. And the hashtags, like, I can't even believe the engagement I'm getting now from people all over everywhere.
Awesome.
And so it really does work, and it's pretty cool. But what I found, like, so I'm using 30 hashtags.
Okay. 30 instead of 20. Okay.
And I don't know.
More is better.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
I mean, it can't hurt, right?
Right, but
Yeah.
you can't do more than 30. So at least I found that.
Yep.
Because if you do, then your hashtags won't populate, and the post will go no hashtags. That's what I've learned so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what type of hashtags have worked best for you for
So like
engagement?
I'm using things, so like when spring training was around, you know,
For
spring
sure.
training, or Cardinals, or Scottsdale Luxury, Boss Babe.
Yeah, Boss Babe,
Boss
Hustler,
Babe, Hustler,
all those work really well.
Millionaire,
Lady Boss,
Lady Boss,
yeah,
all that stuff.
Entrepreneur, all of those work very, very well.
Yeah.
And even like mom-related ones work very well. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton that really can help. So you found it expanded your reach.
Absolutely.
So were people then liked you, followed you, commented?
Started following me, started commenting. You know, a couple of people were like, oh, you know, I'll be in touch with you, that type of thing.
Great,
But
awesome.
it's exciting. You guys should really consider it. I think
So-
it's the best.
And Google finds Facebook hashtags now.
Wow, I didn't
just
know
Google
that.
search hashtag Craig Harlan and I'm seeing my posts.
And it showed up. Wow,
And your
awesome.
posts were where?
Huh?
Your posts were where?
Facebook.
Facebook.
So with that though, is your Facebook profile public?
Oh yeah.
So that's what I was just gonna
Now
say.
you're a harlot.
That was what I was just gonna say, is in order for an Instagram or Facebook, in order to use hashtags at all to expand your reach, people have to be able to see your post, which means your profiles have to be public,
Yeah.
or that post at least has to be public for people to see it, so that it's searchable. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're gonna move on from hashtags. So Instagram, again, I think can be a huge, awesome tool to help you grow a real estate brand. Remember though, with Instagram, it needs to be less about you, more about pretty pictures. A rule of thumb for Instagram is 1 out of every 15 posts should be something business related for you. Otherwise, it can be pictures of pretty houses, pictures of pretty features in houses, pictures of a cool restaurant, like just pretty pictures, eye-appealing things. So 1 out of every 15 should be something about you and your business. Lauren Coughlin with Shebang CRM does an awesome Instagram class on how to generate leads from Instagram. So highly recommend to go to that if you want to dive further into Instagram, or I can send you her little one-pager that she made up too. So now we're going to talk about Facebook mostly for the rest of the time. I find that's what agents usually want to know most about. And I have kind of some brief strategies that I'm going to go over first quickly, and then we're going to go into some actual, I'm going to show you some examples of things that work really well. So the most important strategies I think to keep in mind with Facebook are, what's your end goal? Relationships. Okay, so a lot of people are too now-minded with Facebook posts, and that means this is my listing, I have to sell, so I'm going to make all my posts about my listing. People don't care about your listing, period. Nobody wants to hear about it. So they want to hear about you. They want to like you, trust you, and then maybe if they like you and trust you, then maybe you can showcase your listing. But all of your posts need to be with your end goal in mind, and that is cultivating relationships that will lead to people doing business with you as their agent. So all of your posts, you need to have in mind people, not homes. So people, not homes. Every post is about connecting with people to build relationships. And if you have that in mind always with social media, your posts will appear more authentic, more relatable, and it'll help people connect with you. You need to be strategic about what you post. And I'm going to jump down to this. So think about the rule of ah. If it doesn't make them say ah, meaning if it's not like cute, like, oh, look at that cute baby, or funny, like, oh, look at that, awe-inspiring, like, whoa, that's crazy, shocking, again, or anger, if it doesn't incite anger, if it doesn't give them some emotion with its in some way, don't post it. And I know that sounds weird to people, but in my opinion, if it doesn't incite some sort of emotion in people, they're not going to engage with the post. And then Facebook will think that it's a low-performing post and not let people see it because they've determined that people don't care about that post. Does that make sense? So I guess I should touch on that quickly. Who understands how like Facebook algorithms with posts work?
Who really understands it?
Well, they change all the time,
Right.
but so the basic mile-high overview with Facebook algorithms is, let's keep it even. Let's say you have 100 friends on Facebook, and you make a post. Facebook shows your post to 10% of your friends, at most. And then so if you have 100 friends, it shows it to 10 of your friends.
Not
Not 100, period. And then if those 10 friends like your post, comment on your post, then Facebook says, oh, people like this post, we'll show it to some more of your friends. And then as it gets traction, the more and more engagement that your post gets, the more reach it gets. But even the people who are very engaged in Facebook, people in this industry, in this brokerage, whatever, who have 5,000 friends on Facebook, the most you'll ever see, and you can challenge me on this, unless they're paying to boost it, the most likes I've really ever seen organically is about 500 to 600, even if they have 5,000 friends. And that's because Facebook is not showing the post to all 5,000 of their friends. And this, you may wonder, like, I sat down with an agent a few months ago, and it made me laugh so hard. He's like, he had no idea about that. And I said, he's like, my wife is always getting so mad at me that I never like her posts. And he's like, but I don't see them. And I tell her I don't see them, and I'm like, well, that's because Facebook thinks you don't care about what your wife is posting. And so that's another important thing about Facebook. I'm going to divert here for a second. If you don't use Facebook, it's not going to promote you, period. So if you're not going into Facebook and using it for their average user worldwide is 22 minutes a day. So if you're not at least using it for that amount, Facebook basically marks you as disengaged, and then they show your post to even less people. The best people who use social media for business are between like an hour to 2 hours a day on their Facebook page. Not at once, but they're checking in 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, they're waiting for a client, 10 minutes here. But the key is you have to be liking, commenting, engaging, friend requesting people. to show that you're engaged with Facebook. Facebook rewards those who are rewarding Facebook. So that's really important.
Now
So
I
I got-
understand why I pasted things over the years.
And you get 5 likes, right? 2 likes.
Saying, did anyone see this?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see your post.
No, yeah, people don't.
Public
So-
post
Yeah,
versus,
but when you start being strategic with that, you start getting a percentage of people liking it, and then I run into people that didn't like it that make comments about, you know,
Yeah.
oh, did you get the Jeep running again, or, you know, I mean, this, so it's consistency, but it's not just consistency in post, you gotta go like other people.
You got to use it. You got to use Facebook almost every day, 5 days a week at least.
is the
You gotta be in
messenger
there.
work differently? Facebook's messenger. Does that work differently than just Facebook, your personal one?
As far as what? Because
As far as allowing, like, when my daughter works for Hallmark and I said, make sure you watch Lexi's show, it comes out Saturday with Kix Brooks. I didn't see it. Now, I'm on Facebook a lot. Now, if I went to Messenger, then I can select the people. Liz,
then
you,
they'll
Barb.
100% see it. Then a notification would pop up from you saying, watch my stuff. But
The
you have to be
general public
careful
one.
with that.
But
No.
the general public one that we all have, not Liz's friends or someone's friends, it just says, announced to the public. You're saying maybe only 10%.
Maybe only 10% see. Yeah.
Okay.
So and as Craig just said, the way to increase that is to increase your engagement in other people's posts and then to post things that are more engaging, that will build your engagement score within Facebook. So that's why I say don't just post to post. Post if it makes people incite an emotion. The goal is engagement. So if you're looking at a post of the front of the house, front of a house, does that make anybody say ah? No. Do you think anybody looks at that picture and says, that is my house, I'm going to buy that house? No, it doesn't. But if you post a picture of maybe the kitchen in the house and something either really ugly in the house
Yeah,
or really
ugly ones,
attractive
too.
in the house, and then ask a question, what do you think about this really funny, this unique thing or this backsplash, yes or no? Just ask a question. That'll build engagement. Everybody wants to give their opinion. Then they're going to like, comment, and then Facebook thinks it's relevant, so it's going to promote you. And then guess what? The next post you post after that, more people are going to see it because your last post just performed well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So back to this though. So be strategic about what you post, meaning don't share it if people aren't going to relate to it somehow. Adjust your settings, so allow activity or allow tags and turn on activity broadcasts. You want people to be able to tag you in things. You want people to be able to know where you are and what you're doing. So tagging restaurants, things like that. And you also want your posts to be public generally if you're trying to expand your reach. So even if you're a private page profile, you can still make a post public. Does everyone know how to do that? So when you're posting, and I wonder if I have a little picture of it somewhere here. I can probably hop on mine. Let's see. I'll see if I can show you on my phone. So when you're going to post something on Facebook, even if your profile is private, when you create a post, right underneath it, mine defaults to friends because I have a private profile. But if you click down on the drop down, the options are public, friends, friends accept, or only me. So if it's a picture of my kids, I'm probably not going to make it public. But if it's a picture of me teaching a class for real estate or promoting an event that's coming up, I'm going to make that a public post. That way, when Craig likes or comments on my post, his friends are going to see my post, even that I'm not friends with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So any real estate related posts, you're going to want to make public to expand your reach potentially. You're going to use your hashtags to expand the reach, but you can still have a private profile.
And
So-
if somebody says, hey, I tried to share, because you say, and share
Share.
this. If somebody comments, I tried to share it and I can't, it's because you didn't make it a public post. You have to go back and change that.
Oh, so if I write on Barry Lewis post something, yes, then it'll say public. Album, Scottsdale, it pops up
So-
automatically.
Correct. So that means you must not have a private profile, which is fine. You don't necessarily have
How about
to.
that private?
It's up to you. I'm private, so I don't want people to be able to see my whole life on the internet, but it is helpful to be able to have the option, right? I want certain things to be private, I want certain things to be public, and Facebook gives you that option. Creating friend lists in Facebook is a huge way to manage your sphere, your database, ask for referrals. It takes a little bit of time because you have to go in and do it manually. You have to create a group, meaning past clients. You can create a group, then you manually go in and add all your past clients to that group, or your friends and family, sphere, database, whatever it is, add them all to that group. What it allows you to do is when you make a post, then you can post just to that group. Does that make sense? So same thing, instead of making it a public or private post, you can post just to your past clients. So, or if you can have a whole thing of leads in there, potentially, and then your new listings, you could post to your leads, but you could hide it from your family who doesn't care necessarily about every new listing that you have. So it allows you to leverage that very easily. So you can post certain things to certain lists, and then also it allows you to quickly engage with customers and colleagues. So meaning when you go onto Facebook and you look at your news feed, that's everyone that you're friends with, right? But if you click on your friend list, past clients, say you're getting ready to make your phone calls to all of your people in your sphere, and you want to see what they're up to, you can click on your past client list. It'll only show you, it'll be a news feed of only things that those people posted. Does that make sense? So then you can spend a couple minutes scrolling through those, seeing what your past clients have been up to, and then make your calls to check in and say, oh, I saw Johnny's T-ball game, or whatever, you know. It helps you then to have things to talk about, something to connect with them about. So oftentimes too on Facebook, another big error I see people making is they post the same kind of content all the time. And generally, if it's not working, then they're not getting engagement. So the best thing you can do is vary your types of content. So here's a lot of content ideas that work to vary content. And the goal with that is, if all you do, and I'm guilty of this, all I do for the most part is post things about my kids and post things about work. But people who don't have kids probably aren't going to want to see pictures of my kids every weekend, but maybe they love hiking. So then if I posted a hiking pic, maybe they would connect with that, or a picture of dogs, or a picture of food, or a picture of alcohol, or a picture of church, or a picture of whatever it is. So the more you vary the types of content that you post, the more likely you are to broaden your reach on Facebook, because those 10% of your friends that it shows it to are not all going to be interested in the same kind of things. So that's why you need to vary the types of content that you post. So all these things are great. I talked about some things, I've touched on it a couple times, but leverage built-in audiences from people who already have them. Meaning if there's communities that have like neighborhood places or events that have big followings, leverage their audience for yourself. And that's what I said earlier. So if you're at a restaurant that has a good following, is very popular in the community, definitely use, tag the place, hashtag them, because then their followers will be likely to see that post. So you want to definitely leverage local community places. Or if that place posts something, for example, the Grand Orange in Arcadia is posting that they're doing a, art vendor or whatever is coming, share that post, because that post already will get traction from their organic followers, and then it will be more likely that you'll expand your reach within that community.
The businesses aren't get irritated by that?
No, they love it. It's free marketing for them. They love it. And they wouldn't have made it a public post if they didn't want to share, is the way that I look at it.
So it basically reflects on you positively that you have an interest in this.
Yeah.
Like the Chandler Jazz Festival.
Absolutely.
People up here don't know about it, but I would post it on my Facebook.
Absolutely. And in fact, I would share it rather than post it, because your audience, as you've said, they're not as engaged with your stuff. But if you share theirs and it's public, that post already has traction on its own. So then you're just building off of the traction that it's already built.
Now you're doing that from your business page or your personal page?
It's up to you. I generally would say personal page. A lot of times people will then post to their business page and share it to their personal page. But ultimately, so if an organic personal post only gets about 10% of your audience, A business post is going to get less than 1% of your audience. So a normal Facebook user is only going to see about 3 to 4 business posts per day, period. Even if you like or follow 300 businesses, Facebook knows that people don't go on Facebook to look at business stuff. They want it to be personal mainly. So that's why your business page is going to perform even worse than your personal stuff will by a mile.
It's pay to play.
Yeah, it's pay to play, 100%. That's the reason why business pages exist. So I said I was going to touch on that, and I didn't. So I'll get back to it. So in my opinion, there's really only 2 reasons to have a Facebook business page. I think in real estate, most everything should be done through your Facebook personal page, as that's how people are going to connect with you. They're going to find something in common with you, like you, trust you through what you're saying about yourself personally. Business page, the 2 reasons to have a business page, in my opinion, are A, it's basically an online business card. When people Google your name, Facebook is the most widely used website online besides Google. It's number 2 biggest used website in the United States. So it's going to show up on the highest thing on the search of Google when people type in your name. So if you have a Facebook business page associated with your name, when they type in Craig Harland, his Facebook page is going to show up before even his personal website will show up. So it's, to me, a free digital business card for people to validate you as a real estate agent. If you have reviews on there, it's even better. And it has your address, phone number, email, time, all that on there. So it validates you as an agent. So that's the first reason. The second reason is to run Facebook ads. That's it. Other than that, I really don't recommend agents to spend too much time managing their business page because I think it's wasted time and energy. If you're gonna do something on your business page, share it to your personal page or post it on both. And generally, always the personal page is gonna get 10 times the engagement of a business page. So that definitely, does that answer your question?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so other things that you can post about, inspirational quotes are kind of all the rage right now. With those, though, it's great to use a graphic for it, right? All the graphic quotes that are coming up now. But what's even better is, I know my pop-up came up. What's even better is to make it look the same every time, to be consistent with your brand. So that's where I said personalize your graphics so that all the quotes look the same. So you have a consistent color and look and font. So you're basically just retyping the quote. Obviously cite the quote if it's somebody published or an author that's relevant. But that way, it's not the quote that people will start to recognize your color scheme and your brand for free. So take the quote. But inspirational quotes can be great. People love them. Social contests and giveaways are huge things for posts. Asking questions are great for posts. The what do you think thing, I think, is great. And I've told agents this, and at first they're like, oh, I feel so weird doing it. But ask fake questions. I know that sounds silly, but right now the whole in search of recommendation thing is really popular, and that gets a lot of traction on Facebook.